Going live to Brazil via Skype in the media center from MLSsoccer.com and Soccer by Ives. He is our friend here, Franco Panizo. Franco, welcome, my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I couldn't be better. Franco, let's talk about that historic goal, that historic game last night against Ghana, USA coming out on top. But even before the game started, Franco, I understood that there was a sea of USA fans making their way to the stadium. Talk about all the emotions and everything going into this game, even before it started.
Yeah, it was an interesting scene. A nice little pro-U.S. atmosphere in Natal, and it was actually there, throughout the days leading up to the game. Beautiful city, right on the beach. It was kind of rainy the first couple of days we were there, but even so, the U.S. fans, they're in Brazil. They're trying to have a good time. I went out one of the nights and there was actually a lot of U.S. fans out in the bars, local strip of bars, and it was pouring, torrential downpour, and they were still out, getting soaked and having a good time, getting ready for the game. And in the lead up to the actual game on game day, it was the same thing. A bunch of U.S. fans just got together at the pregame spot for tailgating and just singing and chanting, and they arrived to the stadium a little bit late, as they usually do, because the American Outlaws kind of always march in together, and it was a great atmosphere, honestly. A lot of emotion. You could feel the emotion, and you could feel the passion from the U.S. fans, and it was pretty remarkable to see, given that it's a World Cup, and you have half, if not a little more than half of the stadium in another country cheering for the red, white, and blue.
Franco, safe to say that most of the U.S. fans were seated down when history was made. Clint Dempsey comes up big and scores the first goal, the goal that will go down in U.S. soccer history as the fastest goal in World Cup, and what a goal it was. What a battle. Let's talk about that first half, Franco. To me, it looked like the United States was playing toe-to-toe with Ghana in that first half, and it looked like up until Josie pulled that hamstring that they were getting their chances and they were causing all sorts of problems for Ghana. How did you see it?
Yeah, I would agree that I think they were a little more on the defensive end, even until Altidore went out with the injury. But I would agree that they were a little more lively in the attack than they were for the much of the rest of the game. That first goal, did wonders for them in terms of jumping out to a 1-0 lead. But at the same time, and it's something that's been kind of a recurring theme over the last couple of days, talking to the players, talking to Jurgen Klinsmann, that as great as it was to get that first goal, it kind of altered the game plan. It kind of changed everything. Now the U.S. kind of sat back and said, okay, we don't need to necessarily go for the first goal. They kind of stayed back, and now Ghana was taking the game to them because Ghana needed the goal. Ghana needed to bring itself back into the match after conceding early. So it was a blessing, obviously, but it was also kind of a little bit of a curse. And U.S. were on the back foot for much of the rest of the game, especially after Altidore went out with the injury, and they held firm up until AU scored that late goal, and John Brooks came to the rescue, with the timeliest of goals for his first international strike. So, the U.S. knows it has some things to work on going into the next one.
Franco, to me, Jeff Cameron and Jermaine Jones had the game of their life, and to me, maybe a bit of a concern was Michael Bradley. I didn't see the Michael Bradley I fell in love with at AS Roma and TFC. He just didn't look like he was right out there. Talk about both situations.
Oh, I would agree with you that Jeff Cameron and Jermaine Jones had solid games. For me, Jermaine Jones was the man of the match. I know some observers and some fans have kind of criticized him for not helping out DeMarcus Beasley, but Jones did. I thought Jones did more than enough in terms of helping Beasley out there on the left flank. I mean, Jermaine Jones is still a midfielder, so while he does have to track back, and while he did do that, he also has to worry about where he's at positionally in the midfield. He can't just completely abandon his place, in front of that back four just to go, drop so far back. So I thought he had a very good game. I thought he showed great, tremendous poise and not reacting to Sulley Muntari. When Muntari got in his face there towards the end of the first half. Jermaine Jones is criticized for being too aggressive, too physical, and I thought he did very well there, and just in the game overall. Cameron overlooked a little bit, but yeah, I thought he did well. first half with Matt Besler, and then second half new center back partner, and he held up for the most part. And Michael Bradley, like you said, yeah, he didn't have his best of games against Ghana. It was definitely something that was eye opening to U.S. fans, to media, because Bradley sets the bar so high for himself and has been so consistent for so long. So it's one game that wasn't his best, but he has a big chance to bounce back now against a Portugal side that's very talented. Obviously, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo and a bevy of other talented players. So, hopefully for the U.S., Bradley gets back to his normal performances and they go from there. Because obviously, a win against Portugal would be big and probably all but assure them that they're moving on to the knockout rounds.
Franco, the biggest concern if I'm a U.S. soccer fan is now with the injury to Josie Altidore. He's done in the World Cup. And Clint Dempsey, with that broken nose, is not going to be at 100%. Who is going to be relied upon to put the ball in the back of the net? Will it be Chris Wondolowski? Are you going to need some other support from some other guys, maybe a Brad Davis to chip in?
That's the big question right now. Altidore seems all but likely to miss this game, or all but certain, to miss this game against Portugal. Based on the comments we're hearing, he underwent an MRI today. The results aren't back yet, but it seems that he will miss this game on Sunday up in Manaus. However, Jurgen Klinsmann said today that there's hope from himself and from within the team that Altidore can return at some point in the tournament. They just don't know how soon that, or how quick that could be. That all depends on how fast he heals, and it comes down to all those factors. So. In terms of replacing him, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. Altidore, for all the criticism he's received in recent months, does so much for the U.S. squad in terms of holding the ball up and making runs and just being a big. Altidore is a big, physical, imposing forward. A lot of defenders you see they just bounce off of him because he's a big guy. He's got some size. He's got strength, and he's gotten better at knowing how to use his body. So, it's tough. That's a big question. Do they go with Wondolowski? Do they go with Aron Johansson? You saw that Jurgen Klinsmann went with Johansson, towards against Ghana. So, that would seem like the most likely switch, but you never know. It all depends on the matchups, and we'll see what Klinsmann decides. We'll pick up more in the next few days.
Franco, just before we let you go, we really appreciate your time. What is the game plan now getting ready for Portugal? Has Klinsmann talked to the media today? Has he discussed, obviously, a Portugal that's wounded, it's hurt, but it's a bear that cannot be awoken? How will they go at Portugal? Will they try to get into their grill house and see if they can get a couple players off their game and get some cards levied at them early? Or will they play a more defensive style of game, you believe?
I think they're going to go for it. I think they will be organized when they don't have the ball, and they'll try to get numbers behind it. But I don't think they're going to sit back in a shell or park the bus or do that for 90 minutes against Portugal. I think they're going to try to possess the ball and attack and go after Portugal and then try to get a victory. Because look, a win gives the U.S. 6 points in their first two games. Pretty much assures that they're on to the knockout phase, and that would be huge before facing Germany. Where you could possibly rest some guys and get some other guys some minutes. So it's key that for the U.S. to try to go for the win here. A draw wouldn't be terrible either, but then you're gonna have to kind of either get another result against a tough German team that just beat Portugal 4-0, or hope other results fall your way. So I think they're going to go for the win. They're going to be smart about it, but I think you'll see an improved performance offensively, and it'll come down to how they do defensively, how organized they are, how compact they are in the back against Portugal's star-studded attack. That will determine whether they can get the 3 points.
Franco, as we let you go, give us a taste, give us a flavor of the country, the beautiful country of Brazil. How has the hospitality been? How has the entertainment been? How has everyone been treated there? And what about some of the protests? Have you seen some of that?
I haven't seen any of the protests, to be honest with you. It's funny. I'm actually doing a diary for Soccer By since this is my first World Cup. I'm kind of just jotting down just my sights, what I've seen here, and honestly, when I first got here, there by. I got here last Wednesday, so it was the day before the World Cup started. And I landed in Sao Paulo, which is the home base for the U.S. team, for this World Cup. And there seemed to be a bit of a vibe. The World Cup vibe was kind of missing. But then that all changed once the opener took place the next day. And it's been ever since that opening game that Brazil won. It's been a big party. You see the jerseys everywhere. You see all people from all different countries representing their nation. And at the airport, Natal was beautiful. On the beach, you saw so many U.S. fans out there at bars, and I saw me and Ives had dinner a couple nights ago at just a local restaurant, and it was the Argentinian fans poured in. They were taking their shirts off when Messi scored. It's a big fun feeling right now. Big fun vibe. Brazilians are happy-go-lucky as it is. So having a World Cup and having that reason to celebrate, it's been a real good experience so far. I honestly have no complaints. Actually, really quick, I would have to say, U.S. Soccer and the American Outlaws through the night before party. They did a joint effort and threw the night before party in Natal. And it was probably the best night before party I've been to. Not probably, it was the best night before party I've been to. Big stage, big crowd. It was kind of like a music concert more than it was like an AO party. It was really fun, really good time, and it just emblematic of the whole overall vibe that everyone's having here in Brazil.
Franco, memories you'll never forget, young man. Cherish them. Enjoy them.